Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Fringe Coverage. This podcast profiles the stories, swings, and stars of the LPGA Tour. And whether you're new to women's golf or a longtime fan, hopefully this podcast helps you develop your own rooting interest in women's professional golf. And Tom, I am so excited for this episode today. We were just talking off air. I'm coming in swinging today. We have a lot to get into. For those of you listening, we are recording this the week of the fourth major of the year, the Amundi Evian Championship. We are going to preview that. We're also going to talk about some of the impacts of the recent news coming out of the PGA Tour. And we are going to talk about our season-long draft and where those standings are and how one of us is performing very well. But before we get there, Tom, we got a lot to chat about today. Are you firing all cylinders?
Marc, I played a round of golf this morning.
What?
I went to one of our local favorite municipal courses out here, and I this morning I woke up. I booked a 5:50 tee time, showed up at 5:25, and the marshal said, "Hey, you're paired up with these two old guys." And they said, "You just want to go by yourself?" I said, "I absolutely do." I finished a round of golf in 2.5 hours, walked the entire course, shot 11 over. I haven't played golf in 3 months and just tore through that course. I had a blast. Only thing missing was you.
Were we hitting cups?
I think I got 7 pars today. So
that was not my question. Did you putt out everything or did you pick up?
Oh, no. So I went full Charlie. Didn't pull the pin. I was hitting sticks, hitting cups. I was moving through that course.
So every hole a ball hit the cup. You did not pick up on a single hole.
Correct.
Wow. 11-0. Is that one of your best rounds ever?
One of my best. I mean, it's a par 65. So, hey, I'll take it.
Yeah,
especially
for sure.
For not having played in such a long time.
Heck yeah, man. Man, I'd kill for 11 over on a 9 right now. Well, wow. Well, so when did you book it?
4:15 a.m.
Oh, so you woke up and booked it. You didn't even book it the day before.
I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I keep telling myself, like, if I get a good night's sleep, I'm going to set my alarm at 4:15. If I get a good night's sleep and I wake up and there's a 5:50 available, which is the earliest time that this course allows, I'm going to do it.
And
I went 0 for 3 last week, and then today I said, I got to do this.
So if we've talked about this, like I've never played a solo round of golf in my life. How is it different and what is it you like about it? And are there any drawbacks?
Around the second hole, I busted out a Bluetooth speaker that I found at the bottom of my bag, and I started listening to music, which is fun, especially like if you're walking, and there was nobody around me. Like I literally didn't talk to anybody else till I got home. So that part was nice. I eventually switched to a podcast. Like I'll do music while I'm playing, and then while I'm walking in between, I'll do podcasts. Really weird stuff, I know, but I was kind of like unfocused on the game almost. Like I wasn't really locked in like I should be. I'm sure there were definitely some times where I rushed it, and I did definitely like try to get done as quickly as I could, which is probably not the best for golf, but good for my scheduling.
Yeah, man. So you were driving away from the course at what time?
8:05.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
I'd be excited to get 9 holes in before work. That's impressive stuff. Well done.
Yeah. We're gonna do it one day, man. You and me.
Yeah, one of these days. Actually, you know what? I do have some schedule freeing up here in the next month. We might be able to play some. At least August looks real good right now. I'm just going to put that on your radar now. Well, that's awesome. I mean, so you're primed. You're ready to talk golf today. It's already top of mind for you. Okay. Well, I mentioned we have quite a few things to get to. We're a little bit late to react to this, but about a week and a half ago now, the PGA Tour came out with its news about how they're going to restructure. And this was long rumored news that kind of they more put into reality what we all knew was already happening. And what we're talking about here is really restructuring themselves to be 2 tiers within the tour. They have labeled it the Champions and the Challengers Tour. And really what they're talking about is putting the best of the best in one class and having kind of those middle of the pack having their own tour ostensibly and not being allowed to jockey between them. If you are on the top tour, you can't drop down. And there are some drawbacks to that, which we'll get to, but and they've been well documented at this point. But we're not going to go too deep on this, only because we're talking about it because of the potential impacts it has on the LPGA, because there are some, both positive and negative. So again, just to underline the importance here, the PGA Tour, ever since Live Golf came into existence, has tried to figure out signature events and getting the best players to play together more often on the same weeks, and also figure out what they do with those middle of the tier pros who are either missing opportunities to play or they have to wait to see if a larger or more higher ranked player is going to play in that tournament. And again, this has already kind of been happening. There's those weeks where the best players take off and everyone kind of thinks of it as a second tier event. They've now just formalized all of that. It does mean there's going to be a lot of golf playing. There's going to be weeks where they're both tours are playing, which you can already guess what that means for the LPGA in terms of inventory. But I'm curious, just at the news of all of that, what of those things has stood out to you?
I'm very interested to see which courses they're selecting for this split. Like, I'm assuming that the contenders are not going to be getting the big name courses like we're used to seeing them play. I'm also wondering how much interest the golf viewing audience is going to have for this. Like, one, are you going to go to a sports bar and see the Contenders Tour on TV?
Challengers, yeah.
Sorry, Challengers Tour on TV. I kind of feel like America in general is a very broad brush I'm painting with, is just like not interested in a tour if it's not the best. Like, you never go anywhere or turn on TV and see like the NBA G League on TV. Like that's rarely a thing. I've never seen the Big Three anywhere on TV. This is something where I wonder if somebody drops into the Challengers Tour, if they're going to become irrelevant all of a sudden. Kind of like where, when like a major league player like, Robinson Cano was like a stud in the MLB and all of a sudden kind of started fading away. And then he has to go play in a different country and nobody seems to care about it anymore. Obviously, this kind of works where you can work your way back onto the Champions Tour. Sorry, is that what it's called? The
Champions the top, Challengers is the second.
Which I think is weird too, because you can definitely be in the Champions Tour but not be a champion. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. I would be interested to see how much room there is for this, because I would rather watch the best women play than watch some guys who are really struggling to make it. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a few brand names that and kind of fighting to be up there, but yeah, give me the LPGA in that aspect.
Well, I think your question about whether there's an appetite for it is very, very on the nose. Look, there's going to be a lot of brand names on the Challenger Series. Let's be clear. Like, in terms of the numbers that you're going to know 80% of the names on the Challenger Tour. It's like not going to be a bunch of no names. It does bring into question the impact it has on the Korn Ferry Tour, which was always kind of the feeder system. It's going to bring some of those players up. It will benefit the majority of players. There will be a small subset of players that kind of get hurt by this because they got, I don't know what the best term is, middled by all of this, and like they're not good enough to be champions, but they're probably the top end, so they're not going to be playing for as big of purses because they're playing on the Challenger Tour. But look, it's designed to create. Here's what the PGA is saying: it's designed to create clearer storylines, more meritocracy, and let's put a finer point on that. Those are the challengers. There is the opportunity to jump up to the Champions Tour, and there's relegation, which I think is sick. I don't like the idea of someone being able to continue to play on a really good tour and not earn their way there. I like that you drop a tour, drop a level if you're not playing well. They're trying to ensure that the best players are playing against each other as often as possible.
Is this going to be something where like this is kind of how they bring the live golfers back in?
Maybe, when it comes to, all right, there was the Brooks Koepka package that they gave them. They said, hey, if you jump right now and you pay your dues and you do this much charity work and you don't get equity in the new restructure, that's not going to be on the table. They said it was a one-time thing, and the Rahms and Hattons of the world said no to that. Your point, that's an interesting question is, hey, like, you get to come back, but it's going to be Challenger Series, and you're going to have to work your way up, which all of a sudden, if I'm the PGA, I love that because it's going to bring eyeballs to that Challenger Series. Like, that actually checks a lot of boxes. And if I'm Rahm or Hatton, I'm not going to like that I'm playing the Challenger Series, but that fits into the category of, like, eating, having your cake and eating it too. Like, you can't have everything here. So I think that's very realistic that happens. Whether or not they choose to accept it.
115th in the world. Something like Tony Finau is 118. So those are going to be the big names that are probably going to be left off the Champions Tour. And
it kind of just, I can't remember what their final number was. It was 120. Was that the cut somewhere around there? Again, and so here's the thing that I want to get to the LPGA of this. I do get concerned about, Corey Connors, Mackenzie Hughes. Actually, Corey Connors is probably the best example. Corey Connors is the best Canadian golfer. He will be on the Champions Tour by ranking. Most people are expecting the Canadian Open to be a Challenger Series event. Corey Connors is not allowed to dip down and play in front of his hometown fans anymore. There's issues there. So if your hometown event is no longer a Champions event, you can't go down there. And it's one thing to not be good enough to play in it. It's another thing to be too good to play in it. There's going to be casualties here and collateral damage. That's going to be one of those things. But a couple things that came to mind. So one of the first things that this made me think of is whether just holding a mirror up to the LPGA and saying, hey, is there anything here that we need to fix on our end just from a competitive structure perspective? I do wonder if there's some consolidation needs to happen because it is very hard to track professional women's golf. And I phrase it that way because there's more than just the LPGA out there. Like, for those of you listening, like, we talk about the LPGA, we're very America-centric, but there's the Ladies European Tour, there's the Korean LPGA, the Japan LPGA Tour, and these all roll up into an international ranking system called the Rolex rankings. Tom, I 2 weeks ago saw a name that I did not recognize before, and I've been keeping track on it, and this is the right time to bring it up. The number 14 player in the world, I have never heard of. Number 14, not number 40, not number 140, number 14, Min Sol Kim, a year ago was ranked 363rd in the world. Since then, she's won 3 times on the Korean LPGA. She has played one LPGA event, and it was tied for 54th in the U.S. Women's Open, so a nothing finish. And she's played in one LET event where she got like a top 20. But her tearing up the Korean LPGA, I'm not well read enough to know exactly what the weighting of those points are across the KLPGA. It's obviously pretty dang heavy if she can be number 14 in the world and not set foot on an American course other than Riviera. I don't love that. I'm sure there is much more to it. And if you asked the commissioners of those respective tours and the powers that be, they could explain it to us. And I will actually effort to try to find someone who can do that for us. Back to this PGA restructuring. I do wish that was a little bit more clear. And maybe it's a little too ethnocentric to ask. I want it all to be on one tour and I want to see them all week to week. But if she is the number 14 player in the world, I want her playing with numbers 1 through 13. So that one surprised me. So I think from a competitive structure, I would like to have familiarity with the best players in the world, regardless of what country they're from.
I don't think that's asking too much.
So
every so often you will see, with the MLB, there'll be some player in the World Baseball Classic that you just go, I've never heard of this guy, and he's just absolutely tearing up, MLB pitching. What would he do if he actually played a full season? And then eventually, sometimes we get him over here and it ends up panning out. It would be nice if there were something where they could come play. Like, hey, is she eligible for the Evian this week? Maybe she'll be my pick. We'll see.
Right. There you go. And then, I mean, here's the greater question, right? Like, this is the reason I put this on the agenda. The reason I texted you a couple weeks ago about this is, what does this mean for LPGA TV coverage moving forward? I believe their media rights deals are up at the end of 27, and a 28 is the new TV rights deal. Remember, LPGA right now is a bolt-on to the larger PGA Tour deal. LPGA does not have its own media rights deal right now. This year, obviously, the tour enhanced not only its production, but now it's live on Golf Channel every round for a certain amount of it. We just added a second golf league, folks. Now, let's be clear. They did not. Many of these events already exist. They've just now tiered it because they're not both playing still January through November. Like it's a shortened like February through August season for champions. There's a weird shoulder season for fall that's going to allow some people some playing opportunities. Most of these tournaments already exist, but some of them are going to get, more of them are going to be going head to head, which head to head men's golf on a week where there's also a women's golf tournament means there's not always enough mouths. There may not be enough mouths to feed. Is that the right way of saying that?
Yeah.
So I don't know what this is going to mean, but if Golf Channel, the only network on television that has the word golf in the title, now is going to have some decisions to make around who they air, when they air it. And this is a really interesting value proposition that you summarized very clearly earlier of if I'm given the opportunity to watch the men's Challenger series or the best women in the world, I do not know why we are having this conversation. And someone can say, oh, you're being super naive about this. No, I'm not. I grew up watching men's golf because men's golf is the only thing that was on TV. If anyone wants to claim that men will get better ratings, A, that is true. B, that does not always have to be the case, but men will always get better ratings if they're the only thing on TV. If we start prioritizing the best women in the world and routinely show them and start allowing their stories to be told and people week to week start rooting for it, that is no different than 25, 30, 40 years ago when I was watching golf on TV. I started rooting for what I saw on TV. It is up to these tours and networks to prioritize the best golf in the world. And right now, there are two top tours. There is the PGA Champions Tour and the LPGA. So I think we both know my fears of what's going to happen, but I think this is a huge opportunity for the tour to try and flex and say, look, you want to put your money where your mouth is and say you want to elevate women's sports? You just clearly demarked between two different men's tours. You better put the women above 1B. Do you think that will happen?
You know, if I'm a sponsor and I have money to spend on professional golf and it's either between the Challengers Tour or the LPGA, I mean, we just saw what happened with Live. Live had a decent amount of names that we knew from the PGA that left and just kind of fell off the face of the earth. Now, why wasn't Live super popular to the viewing audience? Is it because is it a political thing? Was it just it left a bad taste in their mouths, in the fans' mouths on how the whole thing went down? Or was it just not very competitive golf? And there were some people that we weren't really that crazy about being on there. We didn't recognize the names and the team aspect was kind of weird. I tend to think it's that. I don't think anybody was not tuning in because of making a political statement. Yeah. So if I have money, I would rather put it on the best women's players in the world. I would hope that they're the ones getting the TV deals out of this. Time will tell. You know, fingers crossed. I'm hoping that these sponsors will do what is best for the LPGA.
I mean, you nailed it. Like the sponsors, I think, is maybe the most fascinating thing here because if a sponsor isn't going to get their name on a Champions Tour event, if they're going to get second tier, because man, these purses are like $20 million purses and up on the Champions versus $4 million purses at the PGA Tour level. Tom, what else are $4 million purses? LPGA purses. So we're already in the same ballpark in terms of investment. And they're going to say again, well, if we do the men's, there's some guaranteed ratings because we know there's 65-year-old men on their couches on Sundays watching men's golf. It's like, yes, that's because that's the only thing that's been on for the last 50 years. But I do think there's some opportunities for sponsors to make a splash, and I hope they make their way to the LPGA because the LPGA has what the PGA does not, which is centralized talent. And again, with the exception of the Min Sol Kim thing I just brought up, the best players in the world are on the LPGA, and they all play the same circuit, and they all play most tournaments. Every week you're going to see Gino and Nelly and Charlie and Lottie. Like, the PGA would kill for that right now, not to mention the international appeal that this tour has. I'm worried about the Challenger Tour outperforming the LPGA in ratings early on and it becoming a self-fulfilling thing if someone doesn't put them on the map. I am curious how this impacts the way the LPGA was planning to go about its media rights negotiations in 2028. Were they going to do it in partnership with the PGA? They almost have to since they have the same sport and structure of Thursday through Sunday and all of that stuff. This will impact that, and I know Craig Kessler obviously knows the PGA well. He used to work there, so there's going to be hopefully Brian Rolap and Craig Kessler and whoever else are talking about this and not making the LPGA some afterthought in the discussions. But if the PGA Tour bundles championship and challenger rights together, broadcasters may have less flexibility. Like if they're sold separately, or if streaming platforms absorb some of the challenger tour stuff, there may be little effect on the LPGA, but there's just so much unknown here. I want to be positive here and say, hey, talk about a huge opportunity. But I think there's a lot of power in the hands of the networks, which live and die by impressions and ratings. So that's your PGA. That's as close as we get to a PGA deep dive on this, but I do think it's interesting to hold up a mirror and see how it's going to impact this. Stay tuned. More to come, right?
I'd be interested to see if, there is an appetite for professional golf. I can't imagine anybody's going to turn on the Challengers Tour when there's a Champions Tour on.
Agreed.
Just go Monday to Thursday. I know that seems kind of weird and outlandish, but if you just want to turn on TV and watch some golf and you don't really care who's playing, go do Monday through Thursday. The attendance will be low, but they don't. The more important thing there would be the sponsorship deals and the TV deals.
Yeah, but those sponsors are paying for those people to be at the course. You're losing all the fans for the sponsors. It guaranteed won't happen because you lose fans. If you're doing a $4 million event, you've already accepted the fact that you're not doing it for elevated TV ratings because you're not on Champions, and this is going to be the week that people take off from viewing because Scotty's not playing and Rory's not playing. If you're still doing it, it's because you probably have a long-term community impact in San Diego or in Minnesota or wherever you are. If you're losing that also, that value proposition starts getting really good for the LPGA. I just don't think a weekday tournament, if you're going to have crowds of under 5,000 people and you're not getting good TV ratings, kiss your sponsors goodbye. So they're going to have to do something.
Well, I wonder, if I haven't checked, but if Torrey Pines is going to be on the Champions versus the Contenders, I go to Torrey Pines to that tournament about maybe once every other year. I'll tell you, if it's a Challengers Tour and I don't recognize any of the names, probably not going to be there. I think
the way I think about that tournament is probably how the vast majority of locals will think of it is if I get some free tickets and I don't have anything going on, I might go.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just no individual drama that week. That winner does nothing. There'll be some opportunities for that winner a couple weeks later to maybe jump up to Champions. That means nothing to me. I didn't get to see the best golfers in the world. They weren't even allowed to play. No thanks. Yeah. Hard pass. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about the best golfers in the world playing one of the biggest tournaments of the year. So we mentioned this is the fourth major of the year, fourth of 5. We are in major season, man. This is this Evian Championship, I think, was the final stick that broke the camel's back in sense of getting this podcast off the ground. I had long since said since the Solheim Cup I'd been interested in the LPGA. And then when last year's tournament happened, which we will relive a little bit here, I finally said this was too good of a finish to not talk to anybody about it. And I realized I didn't have anyone to talk to. So the Amundi Evian Championship is this week, July 9th through 12th at Evian Resort Golf Club in France. All the players are out there now warming up, eating probably some amazing French food. Talk about a good week for player travel, I would think, for food, for player dining. This is the smallest purse of all of the majors. You remember there's kind of been like an arms race here recently of we'll do 11.5, we'll do 12 million, we'll do 12.5. This is 9.1 million. So Evian is trailing far behind. It's starting to show some players won't even go out there for it. It's not worth it. And it's kind of the arbitrary fifth major, has that reputation. This is a funky course. It's a funky leaderboard, and yet at the end, it somehow the cream seems to rise. I can't explain it. This seems like a weird enough tournament that we should have some kind of volatility. The best usually rise on this one. So let's talk last year before we dive in. I rewatched about a 25-minute highlight reel of the 2025 Evian. For those of you who don't remember and can't think of the last time Tom and I talked about this, Grace Kim had a miracle finish over Gino. Tom, I went back and rewatched all the highlights. Grace bogeyed 2 of the first 4 holes of her final round. She doubled the 12th. I don't remember any of this. She ended up having 4. So her card had 2 bogeys, a double, 4 birdies, and 2 eagles. And that's just in regulation because obviously this ended up going on to a playoff. I forgot how close Gino was to winning this thing. Gino had a putt that lipped out on 18 to win in regulation. Lottie shot a final round 64. Angel Yin shot a final round 63. And then, again, just to why we talk about this so much, Gino and Grace go to a playoff. Gino hits dead center fairway. This is the par 5 18th. It is an eagle-centric hole. Grace pushes her drive just right into the first cut of rough, and inexplicably, Grace dumps her approach shot in the water, like short right, like no business being there. Gino flies hers just long left, but she's got a chip to go up and down for birdie. Meanwhile, Gino's chipping from far off the green for her fourth shot. Grace somehow sinks the best chip I've ever seen, given the circumstances, sinks a chip after taking a drop out of the water for a birdie. Now, all of a sudden, Gino has to get up and down for birdie just to extend the playoff. She hits an average chip and leaves herself, 7, 8 feet, drains it, forces a second playoff hole. They both hit dead center fairway. Gino hits this ball in the exact same place she did in the first playoff hole, long left. Grace hits it dead center green, rolls back to about 15, 20 feet and drains the eagle putt to beat Gino's birdie. So in her last 3 holes, the last hole regulation and 2 playoff holes, Grace goes eagle, birdie, eagle on the par 5 18th to absolutely steal what would have been Gino's first major away from her. It was better than I even remember, man.
How many times has an LPGA player gone eagle, birdie, eagle? In just any round, let alone.
Right. Well, I mean, think about it. Rarely are there 2 par 5s in a 3-hole stretch, and that's usually where eagles happen. So even that alone is probably pretty rare. That's heady territory for sure. So again, the par 5 18th means that if this tournament is any type of close, 18 is going to decide it, because you're going to decide whether to go for it or not. And as I said with Lottie and Angel, there were low scores out there depending on the conditions that day. So that's what we have to follow up in 2026. The last 3 winners have all been first-time major winners. Course is relatively short, 6,500 yards. This is a second shot golf course, Tom. I don't know if you've already selected who your pick's going to be, but let me give you a little bit of a rundown on this course.
Please.
This is you got to control your irons and your wedges. There is not a flat lie to be found. Think the Augusta National on this one. The course does not resemble Augusta National, but in the sense that there are no flat lies. Everything's an awkward side hill lie, uphill lie. You really have to be good with your irons. Tons of elevation change on this course, and very small greens with severe runoff. So if you can't control your spin and you rip it too far back, it will go all the way off the green. So uniquely, Tom, I feel like you have some weird things that like bother you, like a par 70 bothers you, or things that catch your attention. There are 5 par 3s on this. Again, most have 4. So again, just another premium put on iron play, and really crazy greens. So this is going to be very interesting. Again, as the 4th major of the year, Nelly clipped off the first 2, and then Heyron Yu just won her first. We always kind of talk storylines. I'm curious, Tom, as we head into the 4th major, whether it's the course, players, what's top of mind for you?
I've never seen this course, so I'm not exactly sure what to expect from it. Now that Nelly doesn't have that monkey on her back where she has to win every major, I wonder if she's a little bit more freed up than she was last week. Hopefully she's primed and ready for this one. Again, especially now with this new challengers news coming out, I think it's just really very important for Nelly to come on out. No pressure added on her. I don't think she needs any more of that, but it would be awesome for her. Gino did a little bit better at the KPMG than I thought than she had in previous majors. So hopefully she's trending in the right direction. I'd love to see Charlie come back from it was a missed cut, right?
Yeah.
I already seen her. She's out at Wimbledon, living her best life, prepping for this. Already in Europe early. I would love to see. I'm hoping for a Gino top 5. That's my big
top
hope.
5. We're rooting for top 5s now for her. Can we not root for a victory?
I would love a victory. I would be happy with a top 5 for her.
She's got to win one, man. She's done top 5. She has plenty of those. It's time.
I would love. Oh, you're picking her? Is that
no? It's time for her to. It's no longer time for us to be happy for a tied for 3rd. Like, she lost in a playoff last year at this event. She has multiple major top 5s. She cannot, the thing is she can't close. She's the opposite of Nelly on Sundays, right?
Right.
I'm not letting her off the hook anymore. I love Gino, and when we get into our draft recap, I have some funny quotes to pull from how much I raved about her at the time. I still do. I love her, but man, this is. I don't know how much longer I can say, hey, she's young and she's going to get hers before this is a thing. She seems to have a really good head on her shoulders, but I don't know, man. Every major that goes by, the more talking heads like us say, I don't know, we almost talk something into reality that I don't love.
I would say she probably has the most pressure on her of any player on in the field this week.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that question. I can't think of anyone that has more given the circumstances, especially coming off of a year where she lost in a playoff. You know, she's expected to play well here. Like you said, Nellie's already got 2 this year, so everything here is people just kind of building history for her. But no, the pressure I think must feel different. Yeah, I think, you know, every tournament that goes by is with Charlie. Charlie will always feel the most pressure at the AIG Women's Open because it's in her home. It's at least near her home, and it's the one that people expect her to win because she's so good at links golf and flighting the ball in windy conditions. But yeah, I think it's Gino. I'm curious to watch some of the amateurs play this week. So we have kind of at least the who's who from a names perspective, a few of which we even got to see out at Riviera earlier this year. Aphrodite Dang's back, who, by the way, just committed to Stanford. They are just cleaning up. Like, if you're a good golfer, that they are just swooping up every best young talent out there.
Are they like they're the Duke? They're the Duke men's basketball equivalent?
Yeah, that sounds right. Farrah O'Keefe's going to be out there. Kiara Romero, Astrid Talley, Maria Jose Marin, who won the ANWA. So again, just the best names. A note on Kiara. So there is a LEAP program, which is basically a point earning things for amateur, that once you earn 20 points, which you get through the way you finish in certain events, once you get 20 points, you earn your LPGA Tour card. Kiara is at 19 of the 20 points right now. If she makes the cut, that is worth a point at the major. So if she makes a cut this week, she will earn her full LPGA card. So something to keep an eye on with a made cut at the Evian.
And then she gets to decide if she wants to join the LPGA. Is that right?
This happened with Yumin Huang last year. I remember us talking about when Yumin won. Is basically if you win, in that instance you get the opportunity to choose whether you defer or take it now. I don't know if Kiara earns her 2027 tour card or if it's effective now for 12 months. I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And then in my rewatch, something I did not remember, our first ever player interview, Gabby Ruffles. Gabby top 10 at the Evian last year. I mean, Gabby's been in the wilderness since I hate to say it, but probably since our interview. Again, I don't think we have the Midas touch there, Tom. But Gabby was either tied for the lead or one off the lead going into Sunday. She had a tough Sunday, but again, kind of a sign of where her game was at this time last year. So would love for her to find that spark that she had in France last year. So the broadcast window, this is a weird one. We're in France, so obviously pretty significant time change here. Tom, get ready to wake up early. You're not going to be waking up to set those 5 o'clock tee times anymore. You're going to be waking up to watch 5 o'clock tee times because Thursday and Friday this week, 3 to 8 a.m. Pacific time. Again, East Coast viewing, awesome. 6 to 11 a.m. That's perfect. Out here, 3 to 8 on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 1 to 7 a.m. Pacific time. So like my girls will be waking up as the final putt drops that weekend.
Ooh, 1 to 7 that's brutal.
But the good news is that's the 1 to 7, which means that the leaders are really 3 to 7. So you're not really missing much in that 1 to 4 window. So if you want to watch the back nine on Sunday, you might be able to do 5 to 7 a.m. Sounds a little bit more palatable, but yeah, it's going to be an early TV watching week, unless you guys are still busting out your TiVos. Tom, anything else on the Evian before we get into what I feel is the main event today?
One thing I do want to
picks.
say, I know. So I would like to forego the picks until after our team draft check-in because, as you're aware, I have the first pick for the Evian this week. I might be using that as a trading chip.
Okay.
All right.
Got it. So we will be making Evian picks here later. Stay tuned, folks. Okay, Tom, why don't you take us where we're going next?
So as you all remember, Mark and I had a big draft at the beginning of this season where we got to pick 7 players to be our official team picks for the whole LPGA season. We laid out a bunch of ground rules and parameters, and I think you'll go over that in a little bit. But basically, if you win a tournament, you get 10 points. You top 5, you get 5. Top 10, you get 1. Majors double all of that. Very notably, missing a cut is -3 points, which, again, if you're missing cuts in majors, that's double. So that part really hurts. I believe you had the first pick. I don't remember how we decided that. Probably just because
you did. You gave me a on the spot R&B quiz, and if I answered 3 out of 5 correct, I got to choose. I believe
that's fun. I don't remember that at all.
It was great. I went back and re-listened, and believe me, I've got some things to bring up.
All right. Well, so the only rules that we had was we were going to have 7 total players. We each needed to take 1 rookie.
Yep.
And we each needed to take exactly 1 EY.
Yep.
You went, of course, you went Gino first. I think that made the most sense, especially coming off the year that she had last year. And then I followed it up with Nelly and Charlie. Mm-hmm. So pretty solid picks. You then went Lottie, and then for some reason you fired your EY bullet immediately, which then allowed me to take the other EY with my last pick.
Correct.
Maybe that's a little bit of fantasy football knowledge that I had, maybe wait a little bit. You see these people taking quarterbacks all of a sudden, 11 out of the 12 people have quarterbacks, and you just don't need to take your quarterback. You can wait a bit. Rounding out your team was Angel Yin, Lydia Ko, Yalimi No, and your rookie was Riley Smythe.
Yep.
I have Miyu Yamashita, Minji Lee. Yana Wilson is my rookie. I also took Grace Kim, and then I ended up with Chizzy EY.
All right, so let me react to the immediate things you just said. I could not agree more with how poorly I manage my draft strategy. I have never been good at picking March Madness brackets or fantasy football drafts. And I think if I just strip it down to the studs, I think I try to get too cute with it. And there was no reason to take an EY anything other than the final round. Like I said, I went back and listened, and I've got some unique takes for you here. But it was just horrible. And now there are some people that I'm very, very, some things I would do exactly the same way. They just did not perform. You did miss one piece of criteria, Tom, that we said of the 7 players, you mentioned the rookie and the EY, but of those 5, one of them had to be outside the top 30.
Oh, okay.
So that is where you went with Grace, and I went with Yalimi. So that's why they made their way on the rosters, because we were pretty top 10 heavy, which makes total sense. And again, there's drops are going to happen because there's so much climbing you can do as a top 10 player in the world. A couple of things that stand out to me, Tom. Number 1, I had 0. Again, this is all I listened back this morning to make sure this was all top of mind. I had 0 hesitation about my Gino pick. You said, all right, Mark, and now with number 1 pick. And I said, quote, okay, give me Gino. It was so resolute. She was at the time the number 1 player in the world. She had just won the CME a month and a half earlier. Obviously, we were coming off a year where she was the player of the year. But man, I don't regret the Gino pick, and I'm not going to do the hindsight, man, I wish I had picked Nelly because of her wins. I will say I wish I had picked Nelly because she came off of 2024 where she won 7 times. And then in 2025, she didn't win, but she had a better scoring average than 2024. Like that was another really good season. And she seems a lot more steady than Gino, even in Gino's best years. That's maybe the one nit I would pick with my number 1 overall pick. I then, when you went to your snake and your snake part of the draft and took Nelly and Charlie, you said you took Charlie just to make me mad.
I'm usually not that mean. Sorry about that.
Oh, well, that will be the first of 2 times that you actually used that quote. then going further down, when I got to Angel, I was like, why in the world did I pick Angel? And then I looked back. Angel had top 15 in 4 of her last 5 majors. To date, Angel, it has got me -6 points for the year. You know what, Tom, let's pause before I do anything more with some of this breakdown. Can you give a real live update of what the points are right now? Because it will influence the rest of what I'm about to say.
Okay. So currently, Tom's Titans, as I've affectionately named them, are sitting at 91 points. Now, this is due to a lot of the heavy lifting by one Nelly Corda. She has 78 of my 91 points, followed, not really closely, but followed by Mio Yamashita, who has 28 points. Mm-hmm. Grace Kim has 2 points. And then Charlie, Minji Lee, and Yana Wilson all have -2 points for me. Now, the Charlie one kind of surprised me, especially because she did so well at the U.S. Open, but missing the cut at the KPMG as well as a few other ones, the Ford, the Mizuho Americas, ShopRite, and then also just not playing very much also kind of hurts. So, yeah, Tom's Titans are sitting at 91. Now, Marc's Mashers, on the other hand...
let him have it. Just rip off the Band-Aid.
Marc's Mashers, we have Gino in the lead with 14 points, followed by Lottie Wode with 9 points. Lydia Ko has 1 point. And then we got Aki at -2, Angel Yin at -4, Yalimi Noah at -12, and bringing up the rear is Riley Smythe with -24 points, bringing Marc's Masters total to -18 points.
And again, your total right now is what?
91 points.
91 to -18, folks. I am about to go on an epic heater to beat you. No, this is so embarrassing. So I have no defense. This is impressive stuff. So again, I mentioned that I re-listened to all of this. I think my biggest question mark is, where did Angel Yin go? I think that's my biggest takeaway from all of this is, man, I was so hot on her at the end of last year. She was, other than Nelly, she was the best American out there. She has historically performed well in majors and just hasn't had it this year. When we got to the Lydia pick, I said, quote, let's give me some stability and points. Lydia has 1 point. My top 30 pick, I said, you know what? I like the way Yalimi's been playing, because she was the alternate for the International Crown last year when Nelly stepped out. She has -12. And then when we got to the rookies, I did my normal, hey, I'm deciding between a few, here's who they are. Tom, the 3 were, and I'm going to give you the reasons why. The 3 were Melanie Green, because she was the Epson Tour points leader last year. Mimi Rhodes, because she'd already won on the LAT. And Riley Smythe, because, quote, she hits it far.
Oh, right.
So again, back to the strategy piece of this, I listed 2 people who were proven winners at the level they were currently at, and then one who just bombs the ball. And I got caught up in the, hey, she's going to have her long game's going to take her far at the next level. Melanie and Mimi are both top 5 in Rookie of the Year points right now. Those other 2 I was looking at. Riley has made 1 cut this year, and it was at the Meijer on June 18th. Other than that, she's missed every single cut she's been at, which makes a total of -24 points for her. My team alone has lost 36 points in major weeks. So all of the points matter in major weeks, whereas you're cleaning up with Nelly with double points and getting 20 points a pop for her wins. I'm getting -6 a pop for the missed cuts I'm getting across the 3 majors that have happened this far. So before I get into a couple things I think we need to clean up about this game moving forward, I do think I am the kiss of death. I'm looking at their rankings as of the day that we drafted them. Gino was number 1. She's now number 2. Again, this is as of January 26th. Lottie was ranked 11th. She has gone up. She's number 4, so good on me for raising her 7 points. Aki's actually gone up 2, which is surprising to me. She was 26th at the time of drafting. She's 24th now. Angel's dropped 5 spots from 13 to 18. Lydia's dropped 6 spots from 6 to 12 outside the top 10. Yalimi went from 35 to 63. She's missed half her cuts. She's only had 2 top 20s, and one of those was at the Limited Field Tournament of Champions. And Riley's not ranked, which means she's outside the top 400. So meanwhile, you Nelly was at time of drafting ranked second. She's now first. Charlie was fifth and is still fifth. Mia was fourth. She's now eighth, but still top 10. Minji dropped from 3 to 11. And then Yana was 272. Now she's 191. Chizzy, 30, now 25. We'll get into a few other things here, but I think there's a couple things that if I wanted to be cute and tell you what I want to blame it on, that was the same episode we released the Charlie Hull interview. Let's be real. I was so nervous. I'm going to blame it just on my nerves. I didn't have my wits about me. I was so excited to interview Charlie. So that could be an excuse I use, but of course I'm not going to. I could blame it on our weird rules that made no sense because in the recording, we said the majors, while points are worth double, we also said each major we were going to spotlight one player to get double points. Never did that because that could have been very interesting if you spotlighted the wrong person and got, -12 for a miscut. So we didn't even honor that. We did say we're going to add and drop a player after the third major, which is what we're going to do today. If there's someone who you feel like is your anchor, Tom, I do think, in terms of holes in our game, I think there was way too much emphasis placed on missed cuts. Like if you make, for a couple reasons. One, if you top 10, you get 1 point. If you miss a cut, you get -3. That weighting is way off. Either way, I'm losing this game. Let's be clear. There's nothing different about this game that all of a sudden makes me the leader or even makes me close. I think if we do this game again, we should probably figure out a middle ground there. Also, if a rookie like Yana Wilson plays so well that she starts earning her way into majors, or tournaments for that matter. Remember, Riley Smythe hasn't played in a single major this year. Yana's played well, has started to get some more competitive reps than Riley's been eligible for. It's not fair for Yana to then miss that cut and get negative points, whereas Riley gets just a 0 because she didn't compete. There has to be like positive upside only for those types of things. But each week we don't know going in who's playing. So again, there's just some holes in our system that in year 2, not for us to decide today, we probably need to clean up. I will say when we get into the portion of this of, hey, who you want to drop or swap or anything like that, I don't think rookies should be eligible. I think if we are considering ourselves coaches with integrity and coaches that are here for player development, who are we to abandon our young talent now, Tom? Yes, should I abandon Riley Smythe because of her -24 points? Yes, but you know what? I want to be committed to helping Riley get through this and do my part and make sure she knows that as the captain of Marc Smashers, as you have coined my team, I have faith in Riley turning it around. So I would like to suggest for consideration, we do not drop rookies.
You need to be a youth coach, Marc. That was so eloquently said. This is the kind of stuff that we need taught to the kids coming up playing sports. I totally agree. I think that's fine by me, and not just because Riley is the anchor of your team. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a dart toss. I'm fine with sticking with Yana Wilson. She ended up getting that big dub over at the Dow. So yeah, fine by me. She's one of the original Tom's Titans. She's not going anywhere.
So, Tom, I hate to do this to you in front of our entire audience, but I think we need to declare this draft and game null and void. You have made an absolutely egregious, unforgivable mistake. When I went back and re-listened to the draft and we talked about who we were going to draft outside the top 30, you remember a few minutes ago I said there were 2 instances where you said you wanted to take a player to, quote, just make me mad, the first being Charlie. Mm-hmm. The player you took outside the top 30 was Austin Kim. You drafted Austin Kim. And since day one, you have been tracking and treating Grace Kim as if she is on your team. I don't even know what to say. We're talking about player development. How do you think Austin Kim feels right now after being drafted by one of the most important teams in the world, Tom's Titans, and yet you don't even remember her name? What do you have to say for yourself?
I don't appreciate this ambush. I wish you had brought this up to me off air. I could have had another prepared statement, like the one time I took a player who wasn't even in the field. I definitely deserve a punishment for this. I think that all of Grace Kim points should be vacated. So both of them, yeah, you should just take both points and not just take them off my team. I'll even give them to you. You can have both points. That's really bad. I'm assuming you didn't go back to see what Austin Kim would have got. Oh, you did.
Oh, I did. But that's irrelevant, Tom. What's important here is that this is not a point. This is not fixed with points. And I don't know what it is I'm asking yet. If you wanted to get technical about it, Tom, can you tell me what Grace Kim's point total is currently?
2.
Austin Kim actually has 5. So again, the question here is not whether you drafted a good player, because 2 of your 7 you drafted, quote, because you knew I wanted them. So obviously I know talent when I see it, and you know how to rip it when you hear someone with knowledge say it. So congratulations to you for, all of that. Austin got a couple early top 5s in the year. Again, back on the first Asia swing. She had 4 missed cuts, including the U.S. Women's Open, but she recently just top 5'd at the KPMG. So again, that's kind of a rough summation of her year, totaling positive 5 points. So you'd actually be 3 points better had you taken on Austin. But that is not what at question here is. This is a very, very tough look for you. I'm not sure I'm ready. So the reason I ambushed you is because I just listened this, as I told you. I did not have time to do anything other than report to the people that I care about most, which is our constituents, our listeners. They deserve to know what happened here. So I'm going to need to think about this. I'm pretty hurt right now. I'm sure Austin is very hurt by this. I'm sure Grace is going to be hurt when she finds out she's not Pot of Times Titans. So there may need to be punishments for you as well. Maybe recorded apology videos to both Grace, Austin, and me. I'm not sure where I want to go with this, but I know we're going to talk about punishments for this game, which I'm very much subject to. But I had to let the people know, Tom. I'm sorry.
Can I offer you an olive branch?
You can offer it.
Okay. Moving forward, and this will not affect who you are dropping and flopping or whatever you called it.
Dropping and swapping, baby.
Dropping and swapping. In the vein of the Austin Kim, Grace Kim fiasco, as we're going to call it, I will allow you to swap Angel Yin for Ronan Yin right now.
Interesting. The first question I was going to ask about the game is there any way to make this interesting from here? Again, given the 91 to negative 18, when in reality it's probably 94 to negative 18 if you got Austin's points.
This is a great start.
So, I mean, think about it. So right now you have about 100-point lead. There's only 2 majors left. Even if I won both of them, I would get 40 points from that major winners, and I'd have to get everyone to top 10. We can get cute with it. I think we both know this is night. This is curtains. I don't even mathematically know if it's possible unless every single one of your events for the rest of the year you miss the cut, and every single one 5 of my people top 5'd. I'm sure there is a mathematical way that I'm still involved with it. So part of me wants this game to continue as is, just to see what this epic beatdown looks like at the end and how hard it is to pick a year-long team. I think it could be very funny. I love that option. I think we maintain what this game was, even though we had holes in it already. I think we just let this game go what it is, with our player swap and neglect of other rules that we said we were going to do along the way, like doubling a player during that. Mm-hmm. The only thing I was going to say is, I think there should only be one, if we can think of it, one extreme way that I can win, and we can come up with those conditions right now or in a future episode. But if we say, if I can double, if I choose one player the rest of the way, positive or negative, and I can 10x their points the rest of it, whatever it is that we come up to, but I have to identify it and I have to live with it either way. I don't even know if that's worth it. If I say, hey, I just want to have to ride Lottie the rest of the way and see if she can just single-handedly deal with it. Do you have any thoughts on that to make this interesting?
It would be tough. I mean, if we just added an 8th player to each team and I got Austin and you got Ronnie, that would bring this delta down a lot, I would think. Because
I don't think so.
You don't think? I mean, you'd probably be in the
again,
positives.
The point swings are just in the 10s and 5s and 1s. Like, none of them are winning majors that are like going to unless you're winning majors, nothing's going to change a 100-point gap.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 majors left. We've already had 3 of the 5 majors. So again, like, you deserve to be in the position of power you are because you've got the most points through what is probably 65% of the year when you think about what's left. So again, I don't want to spend too much time on like, do we need to change this game? Because I think I just deserve to get my ass beat. Like, is what it is.
Yeah, I would need to miss. I mean, out of the majors cuts, there's 14 of them. I would probably need to miss 10 of them for this to be somewhat close.
Right. I mean, I think right now we say, hey, do we want me to be able to have a 3x amplifier on one player the rest of the way, and you get to eliminate one of the players so that I can't choose? Like, and even then, I still don't think I come close because I still have the other 6 players serving as the anchors they've been the first half of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to try that? Do you care? Do you just want to leave it as is and just do our player swap and see what the straight up beatdown looks like without any midseason tinkering?
I'll give you 2 player swaps, Mark, and that'll be my penance if you're good with that.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay, so earlier you did not want to do your Evian pick yet because you wanted to hold it for now. What do you want to do?
I will offer you the first pick of the Evian plus Chizzy for Aki.
Now pass.
What? Okay. All right. Fine.
I say that because I don't think we're going to be on the same block on our picks for Evian, so I don't think I need first pick to get who I want. I also was thinking about, like, honestly, what matters for this game that we're drafting for is really the next 3 weeks. Like, there's 2 majors in the next 3 weeks. I don't even care what they do from August on because it's just such small potatoes points compared to it. I just need them to kind of maintain. So, basically, we're picking for who's going to win the Evian this week and who's going to win the AIG in 2.5 weeks, right? So I was thinking about whether I wanted to trade EYs with you. Chizzy has been outperforming Aki, it feels like, whether it's from our point system or just generically speaking, like actual standings, which is probably the better way to weight this thing. Maybe we'll use ChatGPT next year of doing a proper weighting of this.
The big issue with Chizzy is that she's missed all 3 majors cuts, which is
has she really?
Yeah, that's what's dragging me down. Now, the other thing that we haven't really mentioned is that we also do the head-to-head picks each week, which I'm also beating you. So this, me giving you the first pick at the Evian isn't really going to change the Masters versus Titans.
No. I think we just let it ride. I say I like your trade suggestion. I'm going to decline it. So let's do. What do you want to do first? The drop and swap for the draft or your picks for the Evian?
So the drop and swap, we are only doing a non-rookie and non-EY, right? Because you said you don't want to remove your rookies. Okay. Correct. So I will say I had so I'm going to self-impose that I cannot drop Grace / Austin Kim just because I don't even know who's going to be on my team for the rest of the time, but I'm going to keep whoever it is.
I think we can safely say that whoever has less points at the end of the year is who you should have out of those 2. Because they both feel neglected by you at this point.
Well said. So I'm going to change the spreadsheet to say A/G Kim. Okay. Yep. I hate to do it, but I'm probably going to drop Minji Lee. She hasn't been doing that well this season. She's got -2. So does Charlie, but I'm not dropping Charlie. Charlie's not going anywhere. I'm going Hyoju Kim.
Wow.
Welcome to Tom's Titans. So now I have 3 Kims on my team. I'm going to make sure that I
well, Austin and Grace are 1.
Yeah, no, yeah. Hyoju, come on down. You've been one of my fan favorites since about halfway through the season, and she's sticking around.
I mean, maybe we should look at whether we could just build out your entire team with people last name Kim and whether that could beat my team straight up for the rest of the way.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like Gina Kim, Grace Kim, Austin Kim, Hyoju Kim. And it's like, especially once you get to some of the other tours, there may be some different funny side bet.
This is my trade deadline acquisition. This is what's going to put Tom's Titans over the finish line.
To make history drubbing of Marc's Masters. Okay, so again, you're dropping Minji.
I'm dropping Minji Lee, and I'm picking up Hyoju Kim.
All right, very interesting. I think that's a rough call. I think you're going to regret that pretty heavily. I'm going to go put my neck out on that one. Hyoju had a really great start to the season, has not played as well recently. Minji also top 5 last year at Evian. She likes this course. and I don't know what Hyoju's schedule looks like the second half of the year in terms of how many she's playing. All right, question for you.
Zeros are pretty helpful in this game.
Yeah. Honestly, you could get -3 a week and still win. If
I should take Lexi Thompson. Just she's not even, doesn't play many events.
If I dropped everybody on my team, which again, I have multiple top 10 players in the world on my team. If I dropped everyone and fully redrafted and didn't bring, with the exception of Riley and who was my other one? Who went? And Aki. Do you think I would do better or worse than if I just swap a player?
Yeah, Mark, I would actually prefer to give you like 5 more players. I think that would probably really solidify
just a full re-rack. Like I can't take Gino back, but like could I just do better if I just started selecting like Carlota Saganda and something like this, the middle of the pack people that are just getting zeros each week? Like it's very like who are just the cut makers that don't also top 10. I think it's probably no surprise. I'm gonna drop Yelimi No. She just didn't have it, man. I said it earlier. Her ranking has plummeted. So again, who am I picking up? They've got to play well in the next 2 majors. So I looked at who has good AIG and Evian records, because quite honestly, after that, I just don't care. 2 names come to mind, one of which you've already said as an opportunity, which is why I almost took it. So Ronning Yin is playing very good golf. This year, she's made 11 of 12 cuts, 5 top 10s, and in the majors, she's gone tied for 2nd, tied for 8th, tied for 37th. Her Evian career, she's only played it twice, and she's missed the cut both times. AIG career, she's made 2 out of 3 cuts, including a 2nd place. The other one is Heyron Yu. Heyron has made, obviously this sounds like a recency bias pick coming off of the KPMG, but she's made 10 of 11 cuts. This is just this season. 7 top 10s. Her majors this year, tied for 12th. She voluntarily took off the U.S. Women's Open to go take a break and have that procedure that we heard about. And she comes back and wins her next major, the KPMG. So she has a tied for 12th and a 1st in her 2 majors this year. Evian, she's made 2 of 4 cuts, and the other 2, she had a tied for 42nd and a 5th place. And in her AIG career, she's 3 for 3 on cuts with a T21, T49, T23. This is a very hard one, and I think we're going to play back the tape because I'm going to get this wrong. Whoever I choose, the other one is going to perform really well. I think I've proven that much so far.
Congrats to her.
I'm going to go with Heyron.
Okay.
I just think she's been way too sneaky with how good of a season she's had with the 7 top 10s in 11 events. That's nuts. How many people on tour have done that? Maybe 3, including Nelly. So I'm gonna sub out Yelimi No for Heyron Yu and hope Heyron can get on a heater and tie Nelly this week for most majors this year so far.
All right, you ready for my pick? For my Evian pick?
Sure, and then we still got to get to punishments. So
I kind of wanted to go Gino. That was in the back of my mind. I'd love to see her do it, especially coming so close last year. This that would probably be the smart pick. I don't know if it was, talking about the other tours that kind of got in my head. I don't know if it's the fact that I'm so far ahead in both competitions with you that I'm just going to go completely off the board here. The person I'm talking about here, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the LET hosts another tournament at Evian. It's called the Jabra Ladies Open. And in May, this player won the tournament by 7 shots. The number 1 strokes gained player on the LET. I'm going with Helen Bream.
God, you're beating me by this much that you can just have fun the rest of the way. This is just this might be the worst punishment of all. Is just watching you purposely take L's and beat me by a ton still. Helen Bream is a beast. She is giant. She hits the ball forever. And she is an up-and-comer that everyone wants to see on the European Solheim Cup team. So here's my picks, Tom. I really had it narrowed down to 2 real fast. And the first one I'm not picking is Gabby Lopez. Gabby has been in her 4 of her last 5 majors. She's finished T12 or better, which sounds a lot like why I selected Angel Yin at the beginning of the year, which we all know how that worked out. She's top 10 at Evian 2 of the last 3 years. She's playing really good golf. She seems to kind of be backdooring her way towards the top. Like she kind of makes her runs on Sundays. I don't think it's a super sustainable way, but she's playing really good golf. You want to know why I'm not picking her? She's too slow, man. I can't pick someone that I just don't. I don't love watching Gabby play golf, and I don't want to root for that. So Gabby, play faster, and I will select you. I'm doing it. I said when this person wins a major, I will not be the one to pick her because it's going to be too hard to slot in when she does it. And I said that a little bit as a misdirection next week because I knew this is who I wanted. I am going with Gino.
Sweet.
Gino finished second last year in a playoff to Grace Kim, your not team member. She's gone second, working backwards. She's at a second. She missed the cut the year before that. T9, T8, fifth. That's 4 out of 5 years, top 10s. And she's coming off an 8th place finish at KPMG. She's playing really solid golf. She's going back to a place where she's played very, very well. She has a little bit of added motivation and a chip on her shoulder after it got ripped from her. She did not play bad golf. She played her final 3 holes birdie, 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 and lost. Like, someone just took it from her. I don't think she's going to have the negative association she did with like Kroger when she 4-putted the green, right? Like, I think Gino might be salivating over this one. So Gino versus Helen Bream. Never thought I'd say those words in the same sentence. Super excited for that. So Gino, let's turn this thing around and get Marc's Masters into positive numbers. If she were to, I think she'd have to win for that to happen. But that's who I'm taking this week. So Tom, I mentioned it. We got to talk punishments. Obviously, we're talking about my punishment at this point, which is a weird thing, right? Like, I am more willing to take an embarrassing risk than you are. Mm-hmm. So if we were at the beginning of the season talking about stakes, which is what we should have done, you would have suggested way less egregious things, knowing your head could have been the one on the chopping block. So I ask that you keep that in mind as we go through this exercise.
Yeah. So some of the punishments that we spoke about at the beginning was like the loser would have to caddy for the winner. Now, we could still do something like that. Courses would probably make us pay for 2 people, which I'd be fine with you paying for both of us. That's totally fine. I would love to see you as a caddy because, you know, as discussed, when you are on the course with me, there's no bigger cheerleader. And I do really appreciate that. I think it would be interesting, especially if we got paired up with another twosome and you only just talked about what I should do and you literally, you know, wouldn't even have your own clubs. That is an option. We talked about the champions dinner a few months ago, and that's still on the table too, where you can cook me my champions dinner. I know you keep saying you're not a good cook, but I don't care. It's a free dinner. I mean, you can make a fillet. You can make some peppercorn sauce. No,
I can make it. You may not want to eat it, but I can make it. Okay.
No, I think that's totally fine. Signing up for a golf tournament is kind of interesting to me, just because
like a competitive one.
Exactly. Like you and I are not in any shape to be playing a full competitive tournament. This is more akin to like those people who lose the fantasy football tryouts and then they have to go try out for their local arena football team and just get completely smoked. How do you feel about that one?
I think it's a very funny punishment if I'm a listener. Candidly, I don't know if I don't have a gin score. Like I don't have a handicap. And I think you might have to have that to be able to compete because otherwise they don't know. I think you have to have that. So just kind of as a matter of semantics or logistics, that's maybe a hurdle on that one. Mm-hmm. It's funny. I can say I mentioned I re-listened to our draft episode and things that we floated on that episode. We talked about recording an entire round and posting it to YouTube. So like literally filming every shot and having it to live in perpetuity online, which we would both play horrible on camera. Doing some kind of an apology video, which I feel like today's episode already was.
I've already had 2.
You had suggested a karaoke to a Mariah Carey song, which I think is very funny. And then it's weird to be in the position of knowing you're the one that's going to be punished and suggesting punishment. So I tried to be objective here and say, yeah, I don't want to do it, but this would be funny. I sent you a laundry list of things. Go to a driving range and hit a full large bucket of balls lefty, like the entire time, and just let people watch you shank it the whole time.
I did. That one piqued my interest. I would be interested in you doing a club fitting as a lefty.
Yeah, that's expensive. That's expensive to do a club. I'm not that sounds a little bit weird, but again, for consideration.
What about a lesson? One golf lesson as a lefty.
I mean, I should probably take one as a righty first. Let me keep going here.
You obviously wouldn't be allowed to tell them that you're a righty. You would just have to go up there and say, yeah, I've never swung a club and I'm a lefty and here we go. And if they try to make you go righty, you just say, no, I'm a lefty.
that'd be pretty funny. Play around with a certain number of clubs, like if you're choosing. So whether it's, and I mean, I don't mean like play the entire round with a putter. Like, hey, you've got to play this entire thing. Which again, I think is just more funny, not necessarily a punishment. Watch a golf movie or something and have to deliver a serious 15-minute film review of it as if I'm taking it seriously. Play a full round while wearing like iconic LPGA looks. I'm talking like the Michelle Wie super big visor from back in the day, sun sleeves because all of them wear sun sleeves, like the giant ass glasses that Chizzy wears, those types of things. Like you would get to be the choosing of those types of things.
King, parachute pants.
Seriously, like that. It would be funny. It would be funny,
That's
and maybe
be more expensive than a golf lesson.
Well, you're probably going to help with some of that stuff. And then maybe that we video some of it, right? Combine it with one of the earlier ones. And then, or does more of a golf for points thing. This is maybe just more of a fun game than it is a punishment of play golf until I reach a certain point total. So let's say I got to reach fill in the blank number of points, and there are actions on the golf course that equate to points. Some golf related actions like birdies and eagles and pars. And you always love star in your scorecard when you hit a green in regulation, like a point for that. Hitting an approach shot inside 10 feet, like we reward certain acts, but also like drinking a beer. So like, okay, well, if all of a sudden we know the golf isn't going to cut it on points, I have to start like, well, I might need to start chugging to be able to get to my quota here. Take selfies with strangers, just do odd things that were like, I don't want to do those things, but if I ever want to get off this golf course, I have to do them. And if I don't earn the 18 points or whatever it is by the end of the round, I have to keep playing and go play another round until I achieve it. Again, there might be a lot of that might be fraught with danger. I haven't really thought through all the things, but that's just the rapid fire and help with my boy ChatGPT. Some of the ideas that came out. I don't really know how we determine this.
How do you feel about standing at a driving range with a sign that says free golf lessons or free swing analysis for 1 hour?
Again, that's funny, but no, like you would never do that. You would never do that.
I think you could probably give more insight than I could, though.
The point is, if we are talking about a punishment that in this January, we would have suggested we were both willing to do, you would have never said yes to that, ever.
I agree. I probably would.
So that's why I say, like, you need to take into consideration as if this game is still on the line, because I don't think you would do 90% of the things that we suggested.
What's your leader in
today.
the clubhouse right now?
I don't have one. Again, it's weird for me to select the punishment for myself. I just think you have to meet me halfway and not choose the most egregious one, knowing you would have never done it or allowed for it to happen.
Right. I want a meal from you. That's mine right now.
Okay.
Marc, would you take 50 points? I'm going to offer you 50 points in the overall standings. And the only thing you need to do is you need to live post the Sunday round of the Evian on Instagram. From 1 a.m. to 7 a.m., you need to watch the entire thing and prove that you're watching it by posting something on Instagram every half hour.
Man, my wife's going to hate that I'm waking up at 1 a.m. on a Sunday.
You know what? Don't tell me now. If I wake up to a bunch of posts.
If you see it, you'll know. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting. That is
50
interesting.
50 points. That's putting you in the positive.
This is why we pay you the big podcast bucks right here, Tom. Mm-hmm. These types of ideas. Yeah, man, I don't know that there's any way to make this competitive unless I start buying my way to points like the things you're suggesting, which is hilarious in itself that it's at 100-point delta barely halfway through the season. Again, we really, really overvalued miscuts is probably my biggest takeaway. I'm super excited for the Evian this week. I may or may not be live posting now for every half hour for those 6 hours of broadcast. I really hope Golf Channel all of a sudden says, hey, we're only doing 4 hours just to help me out. But this was fun, man.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have any suggestions for this year-long competition, send us an email at frenchcoverage@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram. Fingers crossed, you'll be seeing a lot of stuff on Sunday morning. We are at Fringe Coverage Pod, and whether you're approaching from the fairway or the rough, we got you covered inside the fringe.